programming series. In this video, I am solving the model question paper of Python programming, in which the subject code is 1BPLC105B bar 205B. Let us start the video. Before starting, if you are new to Explore Electronics, then subscribe it for more videos like this. In this video, I am solving this question paper. You can see model question paper 1. This is the Python programming and subject code is there. Let us start. The first question, explain the concept of type conversion in Python. Differentiate between implicit and explicit conversion with the examples. Let us see. Explain the concept of type conversion in Python. What is type conversion? You have to write the definition and differentiate between implicit and explicit conversion with the example. This is asked for 8 marks. You have to write answers in exam according to the marks allotted. Because time management is very important in exam, that's why you have to write according to the marks. Here we have to explain the type conversion in Python. Type conversion means changing the data type into another. We have to change from one data type to another data type. Values can be converted from int to float, float to int and into string. That is, we are changing the data type from one data type to another data type easily. Got it? Here we have two types in type conversion, that is implicit type conversion and explicit type conversion. Let us see one by one. It is also called as automatic conversion because done automatically by Python. Let us see in the example. Python converts smaller or low precision type into higher precision type to avoid the data loss. No need to write any function. Here it is done automatically in Python. That's why no need to write any functions. Here example A is equal to 10. It is an integer data type. And B is equal to 2.5. It is a float data type. Here C is equal to A plus B. A is an integer data type. B is a float data type. Here I have to convert. Int is converted to the float automatically. Here A is 10, B is 2.5. Integer is converted to float automatically by writing this. Okay, clear with it? It is automatically converted. That's why it is implicit type conversion. Let us see one more simple example. X is equal to 3, Y is equal to X plus 4.0. Here X is integer and Y is equal to X plus 4.0, which means it is also float. Here it is automatically converted to float. X becomes float for the calculation. Here this implicit type conversion is safe and automatic. No data loss. Data cannot be lost here. Works only when Python decides the conversion is possible. When it is possible, it directly converts. That's why it is implicit type of conversion, which is automatic. The second one is explicit type conversion, the typecasting, which means we have to do manually. Done manually by the programmer. Use built-in functions like int function, float, string and boolean function. We have to use manually. Clear? For example, string to integer. Let us convert from string to integer. A is equal to 25. Here it is a string because I have used double quotation mark here. B is equal to int of A. A is a string. I am taking int function. That's why it will convert to integer. String converted to integer. The result is B plus 5. B is 25. 25 plus 5, it will be 30. Clear with it? Let us take one more example, that is float to integer. Here X is equal to 12.7, which is float. Y is equal to integer of X. I am converting the float to integer. I am using integer function which converts the float to integer. The decimal part is removed and it is written only 12. Clear with it? Here programmer controls the conversions manually. It is manual and may cause the data loss. Here 7 is removed. That's why it can cause the data loss. Clear? Must be used when input is string. Here I am explaining with the two examples. If they have asked for 6 marks, you have to explain only one example. That's enough. And they have asked the difference between implicit and explicit. You can write whatever you know. If you don't know, once again, let's go with it. Here implicit means done automatically by Python. Explicit means done manually by the programmer. Here no special function needed. Here integer function, float, string and boolean functions are needed to convert from one data type to another data type manually. Clear? Here no data loss. Here the data loss is possible because whenever it is a float number, floating point number, and I'm converting to integer means the data loss will happen in the explicit conversion. Safe and simple, the implicit, and it must be done very carefully in explicit. For example, when I want to convert from integer to float, it is automatically done. In the case of explicit conversion, I have to use the integer function. Clear? The next question is, develop a Python program with a while loop to display the Fibonacci sequence up to n terms entered by the user. This is also asked for 8 marks. Here, Fibonacci sequence starts with 0 and 1. Next terms are generated as next is equal to first plus seconds. This is a very important step you have to remember. Use a while loop to repeat the process up to n terms. Here they have given that while loop. We have to use the while loop. Use a while loop to repeat the process up to n terms. User enters n. After that, program prints the first n Fibonacci numbers. Let us start. Program to display the Fibonacci sequence using while loop. N is equal to int, input, enter number of terms. Here user will enter a is equal to 0, b is equal to 1, count is equal to 0 initially. After that, print Fibonacci sequence while count is less than n. Here it will initialize first two Fibonacci numbers, that is a is equal to 0 and b is equal to 1. After that, use counter variable, that is count is equal to 0 in the initial stage. After that, loop until count is less than n. Here it will loop until the count is less than n. Print a end is equal to empty string. Here print the current value of a. It will print the current value of a in this step. After that, next term is equal to a plus b. It will calculate the next term, that is next term is equal to a plus b. Clear? After that, a is equal to b, that is it will update the value, that is a is equal to b and b is equal to again next term. B is equal to next term, and count is equal to count plus 1. It will keep on increase the counter. Counter is equal to counter plus 1. Here the outputs we will get are, for example, if user enters 5, the Fibonacci sequence are 0, 1, 1, 2 and 3. Clear with this? And the next question is, differentiate between the syntax error and runtime error with the example. This is asked for 4 marks. That's why according to the marks you have to write. Time management is very important. Let us start. Syntax error means error in Python grammar. If you get any error in the Python grammar, that is syntax error. Runtime error means error during the program execution. Here you can see runtime error. While running the program, you will get the error, means that is runtime error. Error during program execution. Clear? Detect before program runs. It is detected before program runs. That is syntax error. And it is detected after program starts running. When program starts running, it detects the errors. Program doesn't start. Here, if you get any syntax error, the program doesn't start. Program starts but stops suddenly. If you have any runtime error also, it will start run, but it will stop suddenly. Clear? Caused by missing brackets, colons. Here I have told that errors in Python grammar, that is missing brackets or colons, that is syntax error caused by invalid operations, that is 10 by 0, wrong input, giving wrong input, that is a runtime error. Interpreter shows error before running. The interpreter shows the errors before running, that is syntax error. Interpreter shows error while running. While running, that is runtime error. For example, print hello. I have missed the bracket here. This is a syntax error. Clear? In runtime error, 10 by 0. Here division by 0 is not possible. That's why it is a runtime error. Clear with this? Let us move to next question. Describe the Collatz 3n plus 1 sequence and explain how iteration and conditional statements are used in its implementation. This is asked for 8 marks. Let us see what is Collatz 3n plus 1 sequence. The Collatz 3n plus 1 sequence is created using these rules. Let us see. Starts with any positive number n. It starts with any positive number n. If n is even, that is n is equal to n divided by 2. We have to do this if n is even. If n is odd, we have to do n is equal to 3n plus 1. We have to do. Repeat these steps until n becomes 1. If n is even, we have to do this one. If n is odd, we have to do this one. Until n becomes 1, we have to repeat these steps. Clear? For example, n is equal to 6 I have taken. 6 is a positive number and 6 is a even number. That's why I have to do these steps. N is equal to n divided by 2. 6 divided by 2, I will get 3. Clear? I have 6. It is an even number. That's why n by 2, which means 6 by 2, I will get 3. 3 is the odd number. That's why 3 into n, which means 3 into 3, I will get 9. 9 plus 1, I will get 10. That's why 10 here. 10 is again an even number. That's why n by 2, I will get 5. 5 is an odd number. That's why 3 into 5, I will get 15. 15 plus 1, again 16. 16 is again even number. That's why it will continue. It will repeat these steps until n becomes 1. Clear? This is a 3n plus 1 sequence. Clear? Use of iteration here. Here we use the iterations, that is, iteration means repeating the steps. Here we are repeating the steps, right? If it is odd, I am doing this step. If it is even, I am doing these steps. Which means I am repeating that again and again until it becomes 1. Clear? In Collatz, we keep changing n again and again. N is changed again and again. 8, again it is even. I am doing these steps again. The value is changed. N value is keep on changing. We use a while loop because we don't know how many steps it takes. We are using while loop here because we don't know how many steps we are going to do this. We are going to repeat this. That's why we are using while loop. Loop continues until n becomes 1. You have seen here, the loop continues until n becomes 1. Very clear with it? Use of conditional statements, that is if else. We are using if else statement to choose the correct rule. Let us see, if n is even, divide by 2. Here we have n is even. I am dividing the n by 2. Clear? If n is odd, multiply by 3. I am multiplying the n by 3 and adding 1. Clear? Here, if else helps to decide which formula to apply each time. I am using if else condition statement to decide which formula to use. Clear? Let us see a program. Here I am taking a simple Python program, that is n is equal to int input, enter a number. Here the input should be integer because we are taking number. Here user enters a number. While n is not equal to 1, while loop runs until n becomes 1. Clear? Here we are using while loop which runs n becomes 1. Print n and n is equal to a blank space, which means it will print the n. If n modulus of 2 equal to 0, which means here if checks the even number and divide by 0. Here it will check the even number. If it is even, it will divide by 2. Clear? Here it will check it whether it is even. If it is even, then it will do this procedure. Else it will do n is equal to 3 into n plus 1. Clear? We will enter a number. After that, it will repeat until n becomes 1 and it will print that number as it is. After that, it will check whether the number is equal to 2, whether the number is equal to even, whether the number is even. If it is even, it will divide by 2, or else which is odd, then it will do 3 into n plus 1. Clear? Let us go to the next question, that is develop a program that print all numbers from 1 to 100 that are divisible by 3 or 5 but not the both. Use the continue or break statement whenever suitable. Let us see here. We have to print all the numbers from 1 to 100 which is divisible by 3 or 5, not the both. We have to use continue and break statement whenever is possible. Program to print from 1 to 100 divisible by 3 or 5 but not the both. Let us see. For I in range 1 to 101, I am taking the range 1 to 101. It loops from 1 to 100. Clear? I am taking this step. The next step is if I modulus of 3 equal to 0 and I modulus of 5 equal to 0. Which means here, if the number is divisible by 3 or 5, it will continue. Clear? After that, if it is divisible by 3 or 5, it will print the numbers. Print the number divisible by 3 or 5. Clear? If I equal to 0, which means the range is completed. We have taken till 100 only. That's why it will break the loop immediately. It will break the loop after reaching 100. Clear with the example? Next, move to the second C question. What is meant by function composition? Illustrate with an example. Here, function composition means combining two functions so that the output of the function becomes the input of another function. Function composition means one function has another function inside it and one function output is the input for another function. Let us see how exactly. In Python, we do this by calling one function inside another. We will call one function inside another function. Clear? Let us see with an example. Define square of x, return x into x. Here, and one more function that is define add 2 of x, return x plus 2. Again, result is equal to add 2 square of 3. Here, I am taking square and add 2. Add 2 is already there and square. When I print the result, it will become like square of 3. It will print first this one, square of 3, which means 9. I am calculating here, which means 9. After that, add 2 means add 2 of 9. 9 is there. Square of 3 means it will become 9. Add 2 of 9 means it will become 11. 9 plus 2, it will become 11. This is the solution I will get. Clear? Here square of 3 means I will get 9. This output is input to this function. Clear? 9 is a output. This output is a input to the add 2. Clear? When I add 2 to that 9, I will get 11. The output is 11. Very clear? And the next module, second module, let us see. Explain the string operations in Python for slicing, concatenation, repetition and comparison with suitable examples. This is asked for 8 marks, which means they have asked slicing, concatenation, repetition and comparison. 2 marks for each, slicing and all. Let us see. Shrink operations in Python include slicing, concatenation, repetition, and comparison. These operations help us access the paths of strings, join the strings, repeat the strings, and compare two strings. Here slicing is used to extract the part of a string, which means I want to access the next second of part of the string means I have to use the slicing. Clear? If I want to access the first half of that string means I can also use the slicing. If I want to access the full string, then also I can use slicing. Let us see how exactly with the example. Here text is equal to Python. This is a string I have taken. Text of 0 to 3 I have taken. 0 to 3 means this is a P is a 0, Y is 1 and 2 is a T. 0 to 3 means I have to take 0, 1, 2. Clear? I should not take third index. Clear? That's why which gives PYT in the output. Clear? And text 2 is 2, which means I am accessing from second index, that is 0, 1, 2. From T, I will access the entire string. Clear? THON. Here concatenation means joining two or more strings using plus operator. Ishow plus world gives the Ishow world. Here I am using two strings. I have used the addition operator, plus operator, to add or concatenate the two strings, which means it gives the Ishow world. Hello plus Python. I am using plus operator which gives hello Python. Clear? If you observe this clearly, here there is no white space, blank space. That's why there is no separation is there. There is no blank space. If you observe here, you can see hello space Python because I have given the blank space here. That's why you can see here blank space, the space. Clear? In this case, you will get the errors. That's why be very careful while writing. In case of repetition, it creates a new string by repeating the original string multiple times using multiply operator. Let us see how exactly. Hi into 3, which gives hi without any blank space. Here I am using the multiply operator itself, multiply, which gives multiply 5 I am using. That's why it will multiply 5 times the same operator as it is. Clear with the repetition? If I want to repeat anything, how many times if I specify, it will give that. Clear with it? And the fourth one is comparison. String comparison is done using relational operators like equal to, not equal to, less than, greater than, less than or equal to, and greater than or equal to. Here, Python compares strings characters by character using ASCII or Unicode values. It will compare the two strings by the ASCII values. Let us see. Apple is equal to apple, which gives true because both has the same ASCII value. Ball is greater than apple, which gives again true because B has more ASCII value than A. That's why it is true. Cat is less than dog, which gives true because C has smaller ASCII value than the D. Clear with this? And the next question is define a list. How it is different from an array. Develop a Python statement to access the third element of a list. List of numbers that is given 3, 6, 9 and 12. Here, define a list they have given. A list is a collection of values stored in a single variable. Here you can see, for example, in the question only they have given. Sometimes you have to read the question twice, thrice to understand the question. In the question only you can If you observe properly, in the question only you can easily find out 50% of the answer clearly. Here, example of the list is numbers is equal to 3, 6, 9, 12. This is also an example of list. List is a collection of values stored in a single variable. List can also hold the different types of data such as strings, integers or mixed types. I can use any type of data in the list. Lists are ordered, indexed and mutable, which means it is in order. If you observe here 3, 6, 9 and 12, it is in order and indexed. This is 0th index, first index, second index and third index. Clear? And mutable, which means I can change. If I want, I can change the 0th index. Clear? It is mutable. Here they have asked how it is different from an array. Let us see in tabular form, which is very clear. Here list means I can store the different data types. I have told here, right, integers, strings, mixed data types, anything I can use in the list. But in array, it is store only one type of data, which is disadvantage in arrays. And list means it is more flexible, which means I can store any type of data, which means very flexible, right? I can store anything in the list. And after that, array, it is very less flexible because I can store only one type of data at a time. Clear? After that, list is a slower for calculations because different types of data I have stored in single list means it is very difficult for the calculations. That's why slower for calculations. Faster for calculations because I have used only one type of data. Uses more memory. List uses more memory. Here it uses very less memory. We use built-in Python methods. Built-in Python functions, everything are available in list. In array, from array module or NumPy, built-in functions are there. We have to take from array module or NumPy. After that, general purpose storage. List is a general purpose storage and list is a array is a numerical and scientific work. Clear? This is how list and array are different from each other. Here they have asked a question that develop a Python statement to access the third element of a list. They have given the list nums is equal to 3, 6, 9 and 12. Numbers is equal to 3, 6, 9, 12. We have to access the third element. Third element means 1, 2, 3. This is a 9 is the third element, which means second index, 0th index is a 3, first index is a 6 and second index is a 9. Clear? This is the third element and second index. Clear? The statement is numbers of 2. I want to access a second index, right? In list, if I want to access anything, I have to take by using index value. I can access by using index value. That's why I have to find out the index, which index it is there. By using the index value, I can easily access the particular element in the list. Clear with it? And the next question is develop a program to count the number of words in a given line of text. We have to write a code to count the number of words present in a given line of text. Here we have used count to find how many words are present in a given line of text. After that we have used split method. If you observe here line dot split, I have used split method. It is used to break the sentence into separate words. It divides the text whenever a space is found. The result is a list containing all the words. The length function is used to count how many words are there in the list. Here I have used the length function to find how many words are there in the list. For example, I have taken the line is equal to Python is fun. This is the line. I have to count how many number of words are there in the given line of text. Here words is equal to line dot splitting. I am using split method here. Count is equal to length of words. It will calculate how many words are there in the given line. Clear? Here count stores the total number of words. Here it is stored the total number of words. Clear? The output is 3 because we have 3 words. Clear with it? And the next question is explain mutability in lists. Illustrate the difference between modifying a list and creating clone of it using examples. Here, what is mutability? Mutability in list means that the element of a list can be changed after the list is created, which means a list can be changed after creation also. That is mutability in list. We can add, which means changing means we can add an element, remove an element, modify elements directly present in the list, which is mutability. Which I cannot change means that is immutability. For example, shrink. Here they have asked the difference between modifying a list and creating a clone of it. Here let us see. Modifying a list means changes the original list directly, which means the original list is changed. Cloning a list means creates a new separate list. It will create a separate new list. Here, modifying a list means original list gets updated. The same list, original list, it will update it. Cloning a list means original list remains unchanged, but it will create one more list, same as the original. For example, A is equal to 1 to 3 I have taken. I am changing the 0th index here to 9. I am changing the 0th index from 1 to 9. Here it will become 9 to 3. If you observe, the 0th index is changed from 1 to 9. Clear with modifying a list? Here just I have modified a list. Here I am cloning a list. Let us see. A is equal to 1 to 3 I have taken. B is equal to exactly. If I write like this, I am cloning a list. After that, I am changing B of 0 is equal to 9. In B, 0th index I am changing to 9. Whenever I change B, A doesn't affected by that. That's why A stays same, that is 1, 2, 3. If I modify the cloned list, it is not affected to the original list. Clear? One list in memory, here only one list is there in memory, that because I am modifying the same list. Here two different lists are there in the memory because cloning. When you want to change the same list, here modifying takes place when you want to change the same list. When you want a safe copy without affecting original. When you want the same copy of that original and that should not affect the original, then go with the cloning a list. Here I have explained these examples in detail. Go through that once again. And the next question is, develop a Python program to check if a string is a palindrome using slicing. This is asked for 6 marks. Let us see, a palindrome is a string that reads the same forward and backward. Palindrome is a string that reads the same forward and backward. If I am reading in the forward, it is madam, and backward also it is madam. Clear? Refer, level, those are all the examples for palindrome. We can check this using slicing by reversing the string with slice. By using this, we can easily whether the given string is palindrome or not. Let us see. Read the string. First you have to read the string. Reverse it using slicing. Here reverse is equal to text. I have taken this to reverse that string. After that, compare the original string with the reversed string. You have to compare. I am using if. text is equal to reverse. The text is equal to reverse. After that, if both are equal, it is palindrome. If both are equal, if this is true, then print palindrome. Else, if it is not equal, print not a palindrome. Clear with it? This checks whether the string is palindrome using slicing. And the next question is, develop a program that takes a list of numbers and returns a new list containing only even numbers. We have to take a list of numbers and it has to return new list containing only even numbers. This is asked for 6 marks. A program can take list of numbers here in the starting, check each number and select only those that are even. You have to select only those are even numbers. And even numbers is divisible by 2. This is the condition we have to use. We create a new list to store the only even numbers. We have to create new list and store there. Whatever the numbers are divisible by 2, which means even numbers. Here we have some steps. Start with the list of numbers. I am taking for example numbers is equal to 3, 6, 8, 11 and 14. This is the number of list. After that, create an empty list to show the even numbers. I am creating the empty list, that is evens. That is empty list initially to store the even numbers. This is to store the even numbers. Use a loop to check each number. I am using for loop to go and check each number. That is which is divisible by 2. If it is divisible by 2, that is even and it is stored in the evens list. Clear? If the number is divisible by 2, add it to the new list. If it is divisible by 2, which means it is even and it is stored in the evens list. Evens.append. Here I am using append function, which means it is added at the end of the list. Clear? This list evens will contain only even numbers, which is 6, 8 and 14. If you observe here, 6, 8 and 14 are the even numbers present and it is stored in the evens. Clear with it? Next question. This is module 3 starts here. Develop a Python program that counts the frequency of words in a paragraph using dictionary and displays the top 3 most frequent words. Paragraph is equal to input, enter paragraph. Here, it is allow the user to enter the paragraph and store the output inside the paragraph variable. After that, words is equal to paragraph dot split. It will split the words present in the paragraph. Frequency, I have taken the curly braces because this is initializes a empty dictionary which is named frequency to store the word frequencies. Clear? For W in words, which means it starts a loop that iterates through each word, that is W in the word list. Clear? If W in frequency, which means inside the loop, the line checks if the current word is already a key, the frequency dictionary. Clear? After that, we have frequency of W plus is equal to 1, which means if the word is already a key, this line increments its corresponding value, count by 1. After that, else, frequency of W is equal to 1. Here, if the word is new, this line adds it to the frequency dictionary as a new key with a starting value of 1. Items is equal to list of frequency dot items. Items method I am taking because it converts the frequency dictionary items to the list of tuple, where each tuple is a word and frequency. Items dot sort key is equal to lambda x is to x of 1, reverse is equal to true. Here It sorts the items list in a descending order based on the frequency of each tuple. Clear? Top 3 is equal to items each to 3. Here, slice sorted list to get the first 3 elements. By using this, I will access only first 3 elements and store them in the top 3 list. Clear? Print top 3. Whatever is there stored in the top 3, it is printed as it is. Here, I have taken an example, that is Python is Python and. In that, I will get Python 3 times, is 3 times and 2 times. Clear with the example? If not, watch once again clearly and understand. And the next question is, what is masking in NumPy? Develop a program to illustrate masking to filter array elements. Here, masking in NumPy is the process of selecting specific element from an array based on the condition. Masking is nothing but the process of selecting specific element from an array based on the condition. Mask is a Boolean array containing true or false values. Here mask contains the Boolean values, which is true and false. Wherever the mask has true, those elements from the original array are selected. If the mask has true value, the elements from the original array are selected. So where is this masking useful for? It is useful for filtering, searching and performing operations only on required elements. Clear? Here we have a program to illustrate masking. How exactly it works? Import NumPy as np. Array is equal to np dot array. I am taking 10, 25, 30, 5, 89, 40. Here I am using mask is equal to array which is greater than 20. I have to take in the array which is greater than 20. Result is equal to array of mask. It will store here print result, which is greater than 20. It will take and print. Which is greater than 20? We will get 25, 30 and 40. It is printed in the output. Clear? And we have one more question. Explain the use of with statement in file handling with a program. We have to explain the with statement in file handling. The with statement is used to open a file safely. This is used when we want to open a file safely. It automatically closes the file after the work is done. Whenever we use with statement, the file is automatically closed whenever the work is done. This is completely safe. Clear? It avoids errors by handling the file closing process even the exception occurs. Even when the exception occurs, if you have any problems while closing the file, it is easily handled by with statement. Clear? By using with statement, it makes the code cleaner, shorter and easier to read. Here it is very cleaner, shorter and easier to read. Let us understand a program using with statement. Here I have used with statement to open a file, that is data.txt, to write a file. W for write, R is for read. As f.write I have used for writing hello file handling. I am writing this statement, that is hello file handling. With open data.txt, I am opening in a read mode as f. Content is equal to f.read. I am reading that. Print content. Whatever present in the content, it will print. That is hello file handling in data.txt. Clear? It will print whatever I have written here. By using with statement, it is very safe and it is closed automatically whenever the work is done. Clear? It is very cleaner, shorter and easier to read. Clear with the with statement? And the next question is, explain the key features and operations of Python dictionaries. How are they different from list? Develop a suitable program to illustrate the insertion, deletion and lookup. Here they have asked the key features of operations of Python dictionaries. The key features of operations of Python dictionaries are: dictionary stores the data as key value pairs. For example, A is equal to apple, B is equal to ball. Here A is a key, value is a apple. B is a key, value is a ball. Clear? Key value pairs. It stores the data as key value pairs. I have explained with the example. Keys are unique. Whatever the key I will use, those are unique, but values can repeat. The values can be repeated. The keys are unique. Dictionary is unordered and mutable, which means anything. It can be unordered and mutable, which means I can change after creation of that dictionary. After that, you can insert, delete, update and search values using keys. If I want to access anything by using keys, it is done. I can search any value using key and update the values, delete the values, insert the values easily in the dictionary. Fast lookup because it uses hashing. By using hashing, the lookup is very fast. Here they have asked one more thing. How are they different from list? How the dictionary is different from list? Here it shows the data in key value pairs. In list, it is individual element is stored in a list. How to access the particular element in a dictionary? That is using keys. By giving the key, I can access that particular value. After that, in a list, by using index numbers. I have explained in the list concept, right? By using index number, I can easily access the particular element in a list. The dictionary is an unordered pair of collection. Here, list is an ordered collection. Here, dictionary keys must be unique. The keys I am using in the dictionary should be unique. Elements can repeat. In a list, the elements can be repeated. Here, dictionary is faster than the list because I am using hashing. List is a slower than dictionary. Here, dictionary means structured data. You can see in a list, it is sequential data. This is a difference between dictionary and list. If you write in a table format, it is very easy to evaluate. Okay, clear? Here they have asked one more thing, that is develop a suitable program to illustrate insertion, deletion and lookup. Let us see that program. I have created an empty list in the initial. After that, d of name is equal to Shiva. I have inserted here. Clear? This is for example for insertion. D of age is equal to 25. Here also I am inserting a value. Print D. Whenever I ask print D, it will print name Shiva and age 25. Clear? It will print name Shiva and age 25. Delete D of age. Here I am deleting the age. After deleting the age, I am again asking print D. It will print only name Shiva. Clear? After that, name is the key, Shiva is the value, key value. It is stored in the key value page. Clear? Print D dot get name. In this case, it will take only the name, which is value. Whatever the present inside this name. This is a key, right? What is the name? Value present inside the name Shiva. It is printed in the output. Clear with the program? Here, the next question. develop a NumPy program to create a 3x3 matrix of random integers. Display its shape, transpose and mean of all elements. Here we have to create 3x3 matrix of random integers. We have to display the shape, and transpose mean of all elements. Let us see. Import NumPy as np. Array is equal to np dot random integer 100 and size is equal to 3 and 3. Here it generates the 3x3 array, the matrix, which is named array, okay, containing the random integers between 1 to 100. 1 is included and 100 is excluded. You have to remember this step. Print matrix array. Here it prints the contents of the generated array matrix in the matrix to the console. Clear? After that, print shape array dot shape. Here it prints the dimensions of the array, which is a tuple representing rows and columns, that is 3:3, 3x3. And print transpose array dot t. Here it prints the transpose of the matrix where rows becomes columns and columns becomes rows. Clear? Transpose means it will print the opposite. Rows will become column and column will become rows. And print mean array dot mean function. Here it calculates first. After that it will print the average value of the elements within the array. Here I am using the mean function, right? First it will calculate, after that print the average value of elements within the array. According to the example, we will get the outputs like this. And the next question is, explain how binary files differ from the text files in terms of content and operations. Illustrate with suitable program segments. Here, text files, how it is different from binary files. We have to explain this. Here, text file means human readable characters. Binary file means raw bytes, not readable, which is in the form of zeros and ones, which is not readable by the humans. Clear? Here text file uses the ASCII or UTF-8 values. In binary files, no encoding shows the exact bytes. It stores the exact bytes as it is. Like it is in the binary form, it will store as it is. In text file, for text it is document. Anyhow, for text we use documents. For binary files it is images, audios and videos executable. Text files we use the reading mode are R and W. In text file we use R to read, W to write. In binary files we use RB to read binary, WB to write binary. Clear? After that, it returns the string values because it is text file. In binary files it returns bytes. Whatever is there in the binary files, it will return the bytes. Clear? Return the bytes forms. After that, the next question, they have asked something. Illustrate with the suitable program segments. Here, the program for text file with open. I am using with the statement here. Do you remember this? In the previous question, by using with statement, we can easily close the file automatically, safely. With open data.txt to write, I am opening in the write mode as f.write, I am using hello. Clear? With open data.txt, I am opening in the read mode as print f.read. Whatever I have written, it will print. Program for binary files. For binary files, I have told you WB and RB we will use. Whatever the binary code, Binary text we will enter here. Clear? It is printed later. Seventh question, which means module 4. Explain the use of random and time modules in Python. Random and time modules, we have to explain the use of those two. Develop a program that simulates a simple stopwatch that records random time intervals and calculates the average elapsed time. This is a program. Let us understand the use of random module. Why we use this? It generates the random integers, floats and selections. Used in simulators, games and testing. The random module. You can observe in many of the programs codes we use random modules. Clear? Time module. Why we use the time module here? We have used the time, the random. Why we use time? Work with system time. It works with the system time. That's why we use time module and use it for delays. What is the delay to calculate that? And timers, stopwatch functions. We use time module in these things. Clear? They have asked for the program that is simple stopwatch simulation using random intervals. I am importing random and time modules. Total is equal to 0 initially. Count is equal to 5. Here the total is equal to 0. Why? Because initialize the total variable to show the sum of intervals. After that, count is equal to 5. Here it sets the number of iterations for the loop to 5. Clear? For I in range count, it starts a loop that will run 5 times. After that, interval is equal to random dot uniform, that is 1 3, generates the random floating point number between 1 to 3 and assigns to the interval. Clear? Time dot sleep interval, which means pauses the program execution for the duration of the generated interval. I am using sleep function. Total plus equal to interval, which means adds the current interval to the running total. Print elapsed interval. Here prints the value of the elapsed interval for the current iteration. After that, average is equal to total divided by count. It calculates the average time by dividing the total by count. It will print the average time. That is, the average is calculated and printed here. Clear? And the next question is, explain the concept of namespaces in Python. Develop a program to illustrate how variable lookup follows the LEGB, that is local, enclosing, global and built-in rule. We have to explain the namespaces in Python in starting. Namespaces is a place where the names, that is variables, functions and objects are stored. Python uses the different namespaces for the different parts of the program, that is variable, function, objects or anything. It uses the different parts of the program, different namespaces. Here the variable lookup follows the LEGB rule, that is local, enclosing, global and built-in rule. Python searches for a variable in the exact order, that is LEGB. Here the local is present inside the current function and enclosing is present inside the outer function. Global means at the top level of the file. You can observe here. This is the global, and built-in means predefined names like print and length. Here you can observe the built-in methods. Here is a program to illustrate the LEGB lookup. Here if you observe, it is global. Define outer. Inside the outer function you can observe enclosing. X is equal to enclosing. Define inner. Inside the inner you can observe local, that is local. Print x inner and print x. It will print all the global, enclosing and local. After that, the inner function prints the local and outer function prints the enclosing. Here the main program prints the global. Clear with it? And the next question is differentiate between the class attribute and instance attribute with a suitable program segment. Here class attribute, instant attribute, this is asked for just 4 marks. Here class attribute means it belongs to entire class. Instance attribute means it belongs to specific object present in a class. Clear? After that, the class attribute value same for all the objects, which means for all entire class. Instant attribute means it is different for each object. The value is different for each object. Class attribute means the class body. It is defined inside the class body. Instance means it is defined inside the object. Clear? Here one shared copy. It's stored in a one shared copy. It is stored in a separate copy per object. After that, in the class attribute, change effect changes for all the subject. If I change anything, it changes for all the object present in a class. If I made any changes, that only affect the particular object. Clear? And the next question, develop a Python script to create a module utilities, utilities.py with functions for square, cube and factorial of a number. Import it in another file using 3 import variants. Demonstrate the usage of each of the imported function. Here we have to develop a Python script to create a module utilities.py with the function that is square, cube and factorial of a number. Let us see utilities.py, the name of the Python file where the functions are defined. Square, cube and factorial functions are the comments to describe the purpose of the file. That is square of n, cube of n and factorial of n. After that, define square n. Here, it will return the square of n. Define cube n, which means n into n again into n. This is a cube of n. And define factorial n, which means it starts defining a function that is factorial that takes one argument n. After that, f is equal to 1. Here it initializes the variable f to 1, which will store the factorial value. After that, for I in range 1, n plus 1. Here it starts looping that iterates from 1. It iterates from 1 up to n plus 1. Clear? Including n, not n plus 1. 1 is included, n plus 1 is excluded. Clear? F into is equal to I. Here it multiplies f by current loop. Clear? Variable I in each iteration. After that, return f, which means returns the final calculated factorial value. We have taken here import. After that, from utilities import star, which means here module import. After that, specific import and wildcard import I have used. Module import means importing the entire module using import utilities. After that, here specific import, which means importing a specific function using from utilities import. I am using square, cube and factorial. After that, wildcard import, which means importing all functions using from utilities import star. I'll explain only one out of this, that is import utilities. Import utilities means importing the entire utilities module. Here utilities dot square of 5, which means it calls the square function from the utilities module with the argument 5. After that, utilities dot cube of 3. It calls the cube function from the utilities module with the argument 3. Again the same for utilities dot factorial 4. It calls the factorial function from the utilities module with the argument 4. Clear? Same for these two also. Let us move to the next question. Develop a custom module having function with which calculates the factorial of a number. Import this custom module to a program to calculate binomial coefficient. Here we have to develop a custom module which has the function. We have to calculate the factorial of a number, and we have to import this module, this custom module, to program to calculate the binomial coefficient. Let us see. We have calculated the factorial of a number in the previous example. Here we are using the custom module factorial.py contains one function to calculate the factorial. We have seen this example in previous question. Define factorial of n, f is equal to 1 for I in range 1 to n plus 1. 1 to n. 1 is included, n plus 1 is excluded. F into is equal to I, return f. Here it will calculate the factorial. We have to import this custom module and write a program to calculate the binomial coefficient. Let us understand this. Main program using this module to compute the binomial coefficient. The binomial coefficient is n factorial divided by r factorial into n minus r factorial. I think you all know this formula in the mathematics very well. Let us understand input factorial. N is equal to 5 and r is equal to 2, which means initialize the variable n and r with the value 5 and 2. After that, number is equal to factorial dot factorial of n, which means calculates the factorial of n and stores the variable stores in the variable number. Denominator is equal to factorial dot factorial of r into factorial dot factorial of n minus r. This is we have to calculate because it is there in the formula. Here it will calculate the factorial of r and multiply it by the factorial of n minus r and stores in the variable denominator. Result is equal to number divided by denominator, which performs the integer division of number divided by denominator to find the final result. Clear? After that, the result is printed later. It will show this program shows using a custom module to compute the binomial coefficient. For this example, the output will be 10. Why? Because 5 factorial, n factorial means 5 factorial divided by r factorial, which means 2 factorial into n minus r. 5 minus 2 factorial, 3 factorial. I will get 10. Clear? And the next question is explain the difference between is and equal to operator using immutable objects. Here equal to, double equal to operator is operator. How it will work? What is the difference between these two? Let us understand one by one. This is asked for 4 marks. Here double equal to operator checks if values are equal. I am checking two values, 10 is equal to 10. Whether the two values are equal. In this case, I will use double equal to operator. When will I use is operator? Check if memory location is same. I am checking the memory location. Then I have to use is operator. Here, it compares the data, which means the values it will compare. It compares the identity. Is operator compares the identity. And it may be equal in value. For example, 10 is equal to 10. It is equal in value. Here may or may not be same object. If I am using is operator, it may or may not be same object. I have taken this example only, right? 10 is equal to 10. It is true. Here A is B depends on memory reuse. Clear? It may equal or it may not be equal. Here, when you want value comparison like this, you have to use equal to operator, double equal to. When you want identity comparison like A is B, B is C, in that case you can use is operator. Ninth question, which is fifth module. Create a Python class point with attributes x and y. Demonstrate the sameness using is operator and show the effect of mutability when modifying one reference. Here we have to create a class point with the attributes x and y defined in itself xy self.x is equal to x, self.y is equal to y. Here p1 refers to point of 10, 9, 20. Okay, I am taking a values 10 and 20. P2 is equal to P1. Here both refers to the same object in this case. How to check the sameness? By using is operator. I have explained, right? Print P1 is P2. Because I have taken P2 is equal to P1. That's why it is true. Because P1 I have given point 10 and 20. P2 is equal to P1, which refers to the same object 10 and 20. That's why P1 is P2, which is true. Show effect of mutability. Here P1 dot x is equal to 50. Here mutability means I can change after creating also. P1 dot x is equal to 50. Then print P1 dot x, it will print 50. Print P2 dot x is also referred to the 50 only, because P2 is equal to P1. That's why it is 50 only. Also change it because here P2 is also changed because object is mutable. We can change it. It can be changed. That's why it is mutable. And the next question is, develop a Python program to check if a string is palindrome. I have explained in the previous questions as well. Using slicing. The same question I have explained. This is asked for just 6 marks. I'll explain once again in brief. S is equal to input, enter a string. User has to enter the string input. Reverse. This is a string. By using slicing, we are checking. We are reversing this. If S is equal to reverse. If it is reversed, print it is palindrome. After reversing the string, I am getting the same string which I have entered, which means it is a palindrome, or else it will print it is not a palindrome. Clear? Whichever I have entered, for example, mom. If I have entered mom, when I reverse also, I will get mom. It will print it is palindrome because the string and after reversing string, it is same. If the string and reversed string is equal, it will print it is palindrome, or else it is not a palindrome. Here it creates a reversed string. Here it will create a reversed string -1, which means it will go from the last element. Clear? If original and reverse string are same, here in this case it will print it is palindrome. And the next question is, what is operator overloading? Illustrate with an example using add function. The operator overloading allows the operators like addition, subtraction, multiplication to work with the user defined objects. We use these operators to work with the user defined objects. It is defined using special methods like add method. Let us see an example, class point. Here it defines a new class named point to represent the coordinates. Define in itself x and y. It defines the and initialize a new instance with x and y by attributes. Self.x is equal to x. Here it assigns the passed x value to the instances x attribute. Again self.y is equal to y. It assigns the passed y value to the instances y attribute. Define add, self and other. Here it defines a method to add two point objects together. Here return point self.x plus other.x, self.y plus other.y. Here it will create and return a new point object with the sum of x and y attributes of the two objects being added. After that, p1 is equal to point of 2, 3. Here it creates an instance of the point. The class name is P1 with the coordinates 2 and 3. Again the P2 also same with the coordinates 4 and 5. P3 it will add P2 and P1. Here it will return print P3.x and P3.y. P3.x where I will get 6 and P3.y I will get 8. Understood? And the next question is, develop a program to illustrate polymorphism by defining a common interface method in two different classes. We have to define polymorphism in starting. Polymorphism allows the same method name to behave differently for the different classes. Let us see here, define sound. Again I have define sound. This is the same method name I have for the different classes, class dog and class cat. I have two classes but the same method. For the dog it is different, for the cat it is different sound. In the dog case it will print dog says woof. In the cat case it will say cat says meow. Let us understand using the same method name for the different objects, that is d is equal to dog method, c is equal to cat method. D dot sound means it will give dog says woof, and the c dot sound means cat says meow. Here this shows polymorphism, which means the sound method works differently for dog and cat. The sound is same, but the method I'm using, cat sound is different, the dog sound is also different. That's why the sound method works differently for dog and cat. I think you understood. Let us move to the next question. Outline the differences between pure functions and modifiers. Develop a program code to illustrate both using a class bank account. Pure functions and modifiers, we have to illustrate the difference. Here pure function means effect on object. It doesn't change the object. In pure functions, object cannot be changed. Here modifier means the object is changed. After that, it always returns the same output for the same input. Based on the given input, it will return the same output. May return nothing or changed object. It will return nothing sometimes, and sometimes the changed objects are returned in the modifiers, because modifier itself says that it is modified. It will return nothing or changed object it will return. Pure functions, there is no side effects in the pure functions because it will return same as it is. Here it has the side effects because it is changed. The pure function means calculating the interest without updating value. For example, in the taken example, calculating the interest without updating the balance, here in the modifier depositing money that updates balance. Let us see the example. Here class bank account, it defines a class named bank account. After that define a self find balance. Here it defines initializer method for the class, taking the self and balance as parameters. Self dot balance is equal to balance. Here assigning the initial balance value to the instance variable named balance. Define calculate interest self rate. Here I used the pure function. It defines a method calculate interest, and that takes the self and self interest rate as parameter. Self and rate as a parameter. Return self dot balance into rate divided by 100. Here it calculates and returns the interest amount based on the current balance rate. After that, define deposit self amount. Here I have used the modifier. It defines a method deposit that takes self and amount as a parameter. I have used modifier here. modifier self.balance plus is equal to amount. It adds the deposit amount to the current balance of the account instance. Clear? After that, print the balance after depositor self.balance. Here it prints the message along with the updated balance to the console. Account is equal to bank account 1000, which means it creates a new instance of the bank account class with an initial balance of 1000. Assign it to the variable account. Print interest account calculate interest 5. It calls the calculate interest method to the account interest account instance. This is an instance with a rate of 5 and prints the return interest value. It will print the returned interest value. Account.deposit 500, which means it calls the deposit method on the account with an amount of 500, which updates the balance and prints the new balance. After that, I'll get the output. The interest is 50 and the balance after deposit 1500. Clear with this? If not, listen once again carefully. Let us move to the next question. Explain the role of finally clause with an example. What is the role of finally clause in exceptions? Let us understand this. The finally block always execute whether an exception occur or not. Whether the exception occurs or not, irrespective of that, the finally block always executes. Clear? It is used for cleanup actions like closing files or releasing the resources. For example, try. This is a try block. Print 10 divided by 2. Finally, print. This always executes. Here, whether the exception occurs or not, irrespective of that, the finally block will execute. This is always executes. Here I have taken two print statements. 10 divided by 2, it will get 5. After that, print this always executes. This always executes. This is the role of finally clause in the exceptions. Clear? In the exception handling, this plays a major role. You can write anything, 2 to 3 sentences with respect to the question and marks allotted to that question, and whatever you can write easy. Here completes the model question paper solving. Python programming is the subject. This is the question paper that I have explained till now in this video. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video.